Encouragement to turn tragedies into your own triumphant life story? If so, this podcast is for you. Listen to powerful guests who have persevered through challenges so you can gain strength to build your championship life. The host of Professor of Perseverance podcast, Dr. James Purdue.
Hey, come on in. Today is time for that topic to happen today. What is the topic? The topic today, again, is, that's all, like always, overcoming adversity. We're going to triumph over tragedies. All right. We're going to, what's it called? Kick problems and the buttocks and move forward in life and have the best life possible. Hey, our guest today, he's going to talk. This can be good. I'm going to like this. It's going to be fun, get educational, and may put me in a different area for me to start working on in life. But he's been in a movie on Netflix and Amazon, has his own podcast show and everything like that. And let's find out more about how we can maybe how we can all get a venture in some type of area into the performance world. Welcome to the show, Anthony Rogers.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on, brother.
No, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your valuable time, because we know that time is valuable. And this is a topic that I haven't covered before, but again, I like coming up with some newer things from this, and I can see the rewards of having a movie on, or being in a movie on. But I don't know if you mean. Well, it says you're in a movie, okay, on Netflix and Amazon. So I can see the rewarding, but I can see the frustration of getting there as well.
Well, yeah, I'd say it took a long time, like trying to be like an independent or like self-employed artist, I guess. Like took being broke through your 20s, and being seen as like delusional, until it takes off. I mean, you're in the same kind of field. Podcasting's entertainment, man. I mean, I'm sure you heard it all before when you started a podcast or something too. It's like all the you can't do it, and then like, oh wow, I knew you could do it. By the same people later. It's like it's definitely a lot to overcome. I think just like how to survive for 10 years while being completely broke, and then chasing your dreams the whole time. Like I did comedy and writing and a bunch of other stuff before that, and got lucky enough to one film's on Netflix called Rampage Present Down. The other one's called Psychowave, and that's on Amazon Prime right now. And then we're working on a couple things for Amazon right now too. Like we took like a psychic to a haunted penitentiary, and that's getting edited right now. Called A Walk Through Hell. It's gonna be like a mini series kind of thing. And then we're working on taking my show, the Anthony Rogers Show, to Amazon as well. So it's just a lot of work. I mean, getting subtitles together, organizing everything, making sure it's not boring. It's a lot of work for sure.
Well, definitely at the very beginning. I mean, how do you know how to get started? I mean, talking to other people that's been there, just start studying, dive in, and just learn as you go along. How do you get started with something like that?
I mean, I think you nailed it when you said learn as you go along.
It's probably a learning process all your life, as long as you stay in it.
Yeah. It's definitely. I mean, I still don't really know what I'm doing. It's just like you just kind of take it as it goes. I feel like you kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but like the way I got the first film was like 2016. It was it's still on Netflix, I think. It was 2016. It was like I just annoyed my favorite director, and I annoyed him for I like the he made these movies called Rampage. There's a trilogy of like this guy who like gets annoyed with the system and stuff, and like does this whole thing like he just goes on this like murder spree kind of thing. And the first one was so good, I saw he was making the second one, and I annoyed him for that. And I wasn't like established enough. I didn't have like a big enough following online yet and stuff. And he's kind of like, he still answered me, but he's like, I don't know. And then I had like, at the time I was like verified on Facebook, had like 1 million people on Facebook, built up. I got since deleted, but built up my social media to like 1 million people. And he's like, yeah, I'll have you on. I mean, what's the worst thing that happens? You could advertise this to 1 million people, even if you're awful. Like basically is how he viewed it. And it was Uwe Boll, like one of the most notorious and like hated film directors if you Google his name. And that's why I wanted to work with him too. And then like I annoyed this guy probably like 2 years, and then now I became friends with him. I could just like hit him up whenever. Now he's like basically one of my friends at this point. And he gave me my first chance and shot being in a movie. And then since then I just kind of like kind of took over the directorial aspect of it, making like these TV shows and stuff, and hosting my own show pretty soon. And then I was in Psycho Ape as like a small like kind of cameo kind of thing in the opening scene. But I played like two roles in that too, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, so how old were you when you started
Ooh, that
wanting to
was
be in the movies? You know, you get these childhood actors you hear a lot about, and then you hear oh, like Morgan Freeman was in his 40s when he started.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I was late 20s, early 30s. I think I was 29, something like that when I recorded it. I think.
Uh huh.
So I mean, yeah, no, it took a sec. I didn't really realize this was my dream, like my goal or course until I was like 19, I think. So I think it took about 10 years to do that for film. But but I was doing other things. I was touring as a comedian before that. Like 2 years before that, I was just writing for like websites and stuff, getting my name out there more, so that it'd
Yeah.
be worth being in movies. Because like it's hard to. I think that's what people don't really understand is like you need like a fan base first, and then like that from my perspective, you need like a fan base first, and then like figure it out from there. Like I didn't. Like you were talking before the show about taking like traditional courses like acting roles and stuff like our classes and stuff. I didn't do that per se, or I don't even have a headshot. You know, I never did any of that stuff. I didn't like move to LA and pay some guy to take a picture of me in like a suit and tie and like
Yeah.
beg everybody to do that. I kind of just use the internet, and like I'm from Missouri, so I mean this is my strong like kind of like where I live, you know, like my hometown area. So it's like I just like just kind of stay with the internet. You didn't really need to do the traditional routes. I felt as if, and like I mean, of course, I like tried to figure out and thought about how to be like these roles and stuff. But I mean, the role in Psycho Ape, I mean, that was just me being myself, just joking around. You know, it was just like it was pretty easy to do that one. But I had to pretend to be an FBI agent, and the other one that was a little bit harder. You know.
There you go. So, hey, I would think another topic, and we won't have to get into a lot here, but building that social media clout, like you said, a million plus people, that's a challenge in itself to get again to get people, like you said, interested in you, and then get them to drink the Kool-Aid to follow you.
Yeah, no, that was hard. I grew up in a good generation though. I felt like I grew up. I graduated like high school, like right as YouTube was kind of coming out, and MySpace and stuff, and I was really hesitant to even join it at first. I thought it looked stupid. Like I just kind of was like, that's kind of stupid. And I still kind of think that, but it's useful. Like I mean, it's still useful.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I didn't have to do like the 90s tactic, the 1970s, 1990s tactic of like knocking on everybody's door, like, man, I got the script. I swear to God, I'm an actor, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I didn't have to like do like the thing I imagine like guys early actors having to do just to know these people face to face. I was able to just email people, message them on Instagram. Well, Instagram went around. I was able to email people, blow up on YouTube a couple times. I mean, the problem I'd say with growing your fan base isn't necessarily growing your fan base. It's once it's grown, they're going to delete you. Like you mean that's the annoying part. Like I had a million people on Facebook, a verified Facebook. They deleted that one. I was verified on Twitter. They deleted that at different times. Like you have to be pretty status quo to keep your social media at this point. I mean, you can't have any kind of like questioning society or any or political opinion or like
oh yeah,
anything like that, or they just stifle you at this point. I mean, that's the biggest problem for me is the stifling and the holding back and the throttling of like like I feel like I'm really good at marketing, but I feel like if they're just going to delete my account, like I mean, what does it matter?
yeah, yeah, and that frustrates me. Is they're supposed to be giving you this freedom of speech, but yet they'll limit who they think. It's
Yeah.
amazing who they let, like you said, will delete an account or let the account go. It's amazing. On I guess if it didn't fit their viewpoints, then they're ready to move quick on you.
Yeah, for lack of better terminology, if you're not like a complete conqueror, like or like a Democrat, like fluffing like Biden the whole time, like they're just like, I mean, they just get rid of you. And like, I think you should have opposing points of views. I think all thinking is rational. I think all words are relevant. I think just like everyone's opinion is relevant. I'm a free speech kind of guy. Even if I advocate for like people I disagree with all the time to have free speech. You know, like I see like a lot of my Republican friends being like, oh man, Whoopi Goldberg, like F her, you know. And then I'm just like, I think she's allowed to say dumb stuff too. I think we're all allowed to say dumb stuff, even if we disagree with the dumb stuff being said. You know, I think that's a huge,
Amen. Yes.
and I think
Yeah.
that's a huge point we need to grow as a society and kind of see. I mean, I think just these people are kind of being irrational and like just because somebody says something you didn't like, I mean, you're allowed to vocalize you don't like it, but you can't tell them they can't say it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, because we should be able to express, say how we can, what we need. but respect each other. You don't have to agree with me, but you should respect it, and then go about your own business after that. So yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that. So it's amazing to me. So oh, so you got into your comedy and stuff. Was basically your first kind of so-called gigs or whatnot.
Writing was my first thing, and then I went into
Writing,
comedy. Like
okay.
I wrote for Thought Catalog. This website that I saw got like 2.3 million views a day. I don't know where it's at now, but at the time it was getting a lot of reads. So I'd write a bunch of articles, staying on the front page. I would just keep writing a bunch of articles, and then like I wrote like joke articles, like satire stuff, just making fun of like the top 10 lists and all that. And like
Uh huh.
I'd like stop halfway through the list and just end at 5, and just do a bunch of weird stuff, and like and just kind of mock like the writing culture as it was, because it was kind of boring at the time. I think it was like 2014. It was kind of this boring, like pretentious, kind of like little kid kind of writing style. And I just like made fun of it really hard. And then I got blacklisted from writing because my articles blew up, and they read them as a fake. They thought I was like writing like news stories when I was just like making fun of news stories, and which is successful now. I mean, you got Babylon B, you got The Onion and stuff,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
that time, I mean, it was kind of new at the time, and or at least in a successful way, kind of new. I think people have been doing it for satire's existed for a long time, but I just mean like as far as on the internet, it was kind of a new kind of thing, and like I got blacklisted from that, and then couldn't write anywhere because like they just like they called me all these names, and like just like I didn't go to the Ivy League school they all went to, and
Yeah.
I didn't repeat the rhetoric and status quo BS they wanted me to, and like I wasn't fake sad about what TV told me to be fake sad about, and like I wasn't happy about what TV told me to be happy about, and I just had my own opinion and stuff, so they didn't like that very much. And then I got blacklisted where I couldn't even write for anyone really. I was writing for Funny or Die at the time. I was writing for Thought Catalog, a bunch of their stuff, and then they're just kind of like cut me and wouldn't let me write anymore. And, as far as like major publications. So then I was asked to go on a comedy tour after that, and that's kind of the second thing was comedy. Like I amassed like that million person like fan base kind of thing, and then this band touring was like, "Hey man, you should go on tour with us." And I'm like, "Sure, yeah," like And then just that was my first kind of like taste of comedy. I didn't do the open mic thing like everybody does. I just kind of went
Hmm.
straight to touring and just kind of bullshit it really well, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. 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 Hey, so this brings up a point here to me. Just listening. Do you think that part of your blackballing stuff is because you did not fall into their clique? Because you were
100%.
saying, mentioned from other people from Harvard or the other people. I just say, they're waitress or waiter, and they're here to ready to pitch their thing at any time and point where they're working, whoever they're maybe sitting at their table. And so, because you didn't do their routes, then people, help blackballed you that way.
100%. Hundred
Yeah.
percent is what happened. Like Harvard actually called me racist for my article. They just call everybody racist. They're like there's like, oh, you're racist because like I don't like your opinion. And it's just like a little kids arguing all the time. It's like they just love saying people care about crayon colors and like they,
Yeah.
they just love it. I mean, and this was the beginning of it. I mean, this was like from 2008 to 2016. I'd say that worked. That like ruined people's careers. I mean now they're just saying Rogan's racist and everybody's like, shut up. We're tired of this. Like it's not
Oh,
even true.
yeah.
I mean, it's coming by 2022 where we're at now. If you're watching this later, whatever. But yeah, it's like that doesn't work anymore, and we like look into it. I mean, if someone's actually being racist, they're like, oh fuck that guy. But most of the time, it's being used as like slander and libel and like way to discredit somebody you don't like, and it's just boring. And like they did that whole number to me and just called me a bunch of names. Like Harvard Review was calling me that, Washington Post is calling me that. Like I blew up in the wrong way, I guess, But it's still to me, it's funny. Like they're
Oh,
like
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
They're like, this is the worst writer ever. And I'm like, hey, I'm a writer. I'm like, oh, cool, man. I'm a writer. Oh, this guy's so bad at writing. I'm like, oh, wow, I'm a writer. Like that's how I viewed. I'm like kind of tunnel vision.
Hmm.
And like, yeah, no, I think I wasn't very. I'm not very. I'm not a very status quo guy. That's why I work for myself. I can't really work for other people. I feel like because of that.
I still think it takes a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do whatever you're trying to do with the movies or whatever, writing, comedian. Still takes a lot of work. But I think you're right when you talk about coming in the time that you come in with the way the internet is going. I mean, there's a lot of people that's hit it big in music, find their way in some type of a comedy, in some type of movie. Someone found them doing their own YouTube or whatever, and have blown up because of this. And I think a lot of people get jealous.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, because they think about when I was first country singing, I had to go to every bar in America and make my $40, and for me to get out there. Where today you can sit at home and make a good, comfortable living, and you know what I'm saying.
No,
And
yeah, I get.
I can see where a bunch of people get kind of butthurt on it.
I fall into that too. I'll hear these like young guys going to college for film, and I'm like, you spent $40,000 trying to like get a film degree when you could have just made a movie. You mean, and like I see that, I'm like, oh man, I slept on couches, I slept in my car, I did all these things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I get on my own self too, because I'm like, man, I gave up everything for this. You know what I mean? So when I hear guys just pretend they do it, it pisses me off. You mean, so I understand the same thing. It's like human emotion, you know. I could see why these guys were mad. I could see why it triggers me sometimes. You know, it's like it's just a human emotion and like a competitive nature we have, you know, as men, I guess. Where like men are very like competitive people, you know.
Oh yeah, and you mentioned earlier that same thing, and I've heard the same thing too. You you can't do that. Why do you want to try to do that? You're going to be a failure at that. Why lose some money to do what you're trying to do? You know, you hear it all the time. But I'm a firm believer. See what you think of this. I'm a firm believer. Even though we got all this negative outside of us, people telling us we cannot do. We're the ultimate captain of the ship. So when we decide not to do it, first thing we want to do is blame everybody else. They said I couldn't do it, so I should try. When it's really us that decided to shut everything down and shut our dreams down, not because everybody else.
You're right. No, yeah, we're responsible for how we react to everything. I mean, I think if I'd have listened to everybody, I would have ended up working at Kmart, and they went out of business a couple years ago. You know, I just would have, I would have got a job at, like at a retailers or something. And not there's anything wrong with that. It's just like that wasn't my route. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like we glorify the wrong things sometimes. I think if society would have glorified like people that cure cancer, I feel like I would have focused on that more. You know, it's like I felt like I kind of fell into the whole like societal thing, you know. And plus, I just love movies and stuff, I guess, you know. And my parents were funny, so it was easy to get into comedy because like my parents were always roasting me as a kid and taught me how to roast people, I guess. And like I
Uh-huh.
just like I mean, I guess it just all kind of fell together. But I mean, I do feel as if like I wasted a lot of time on things that don't really matter. Like entertainment doesn't really matter, you know. Like it's not like doing anything big for society other than like hopefully like kind of hyping people up out of their like mass trauma that was given like since like March 2020 till now. You know, it's like maybe I can help people escape from how bad their day was or how bad that is. But that's like really stretching it for like positivity. Like realistically, I should have like focused on maybe curing cancer or something. Like you know what I mean?
Oh
Something
no,
more
I
useful.
understand. Yeah, and we all fall in that trap that we fall into whatever we think other people want, and then we give it a shot at it when we hate it. Okay, or maybe we chase a dream that it doesn't work out, and not that we say we wasted our time in it because we learn things from it,
Fair.
and then eventually it takes us to where our dream or purpose what we think would be.
And that's a good point. Yeah, no, I'm trying to get into politics now too. I ran for office as for a U.S. congressman out of Missouri's District One. And I mean, I came in like second place. I won my primary as a Republican, but I'm in a heavy Democrat district. If you couldn't tell by all the homeless people here, I'm in.
Mm.
Not to be rude, but you know, I mean, it's kind of obvious that it's a Democrat. When you see people asking for money on the side of the road, you can tell a Democrat runs the town. You know, that's that's how I view it. But I'm just saying,
That's
like, not to get too political, but no, I ran for office and I came in second without using any money because I built up this fan base from my podcast and from like movies and whatever else, like comedy, I guess, you know. And I got like 60,000 votes without even spending. I mean, I spent $28 and I got 60,000 votes just using the internet. You know,
oh
I think
wow.
that's kind of what you're saying is like where it takes you later. I mean, you may not expect where the universe takes you, but I mean, you always go where you're needed, you know. And I felt like that. I feel like this area needs needs me more than I need it, kind of thing. You know, it's like I just like kind of see what's going on. I'm like, okay, how do we fix all these stupid problems that somebody either did on purpose or is just a complete moron? You know?
Yeah, I have a problem. There's something. Obviously, I don't know a lot, and obviously, I don't have the answer for everything. But it's
No one
something
does.
just don't understand some of the decisions that are made, and then when you ask about it, they give you the old turn. They would have turned the question to something else. So you never find out really why something comes up the way it does. So
Yeah, it just gets insulting. I mean, I was kind of annoyed at the whole lockdown thing personally, and I was like, we just found out Jeffrey Epstein's a pedophile and all his friends are pedophiles, but you're locking me down. I'm like, I'm like, I'm
oh,
like,
there you go.
I'm
That's
like,
a good.
I'm
That's a
like,
good
this is
line.
yeah, I'm like, this is kind of weird, It's like, and like to each their own. People are allowed to like think however they want. This is how I think. And I kind of saw that, and I'm like, I'm not a slave, man. It's like you're trying to make me stay in my house and stuff. And I mean, I read a lot of history. I see how tragic events are used to enslave a population, and I was just like not interested. It's like that's maybe too heavy for like your positivity. Kind of, I think you got a more positive approach on your show, but that's just kind of how I view the world. It's like, and it made me get into like maybe at least try politics, at least try to do something.
Hmm.
I lost, but I mean, I still tried to take that spot where I could write laws and reverse us out of this, hopefully, and represent people rather than like represent myself.
Well, and then it goes to at least you did something to try. How many of us, I don't care to get into politics,
It's
but
hard.
oh, I can imagine so. I can imagine it's one of them things they call the dog eat dog world. I can really believe into that. So,
Well, you
um,
see, you see all these people being like corrupt, and then you think that's just the way. You think just like you have to be corrupt to even fit in. Like I didn't take any donations. I said no to probably $300,000. If I had to go back and like kind of add up how much money I said no to, like I mean, $10 here, $10,000 here. I mean, I said no to all donations, and like try to set a precedent, and just be like, okay, we don't need a you don't. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. It's the brokest city in the entire state. Well, maybe Kansas City's broker. I don't know, but it's
uh-huh.
one of the brokest cities in the entire area, and the person that ran against took $1 million from these people. You mean it's like these people don't need to be giving me money. They need to be worrying about their own shit. I'm here to like voice for them. I mean, they have to tell
Yeah,
me what they want, and I have to fight for that. That's what a representative is. It's not just this guy. You don't just represent the lobbyists and corporations, and that's where we lost these people. It's like the lobbyists and corporations are giving everybody so much money, and like they think that's who they have to. They're the voice of. I mean, even it's just kind of insane, and I mean, and that's kind of a rabbit hole of its own. But it's just kind of an insane world, and we got to stand up and do the right thing. We got to fight for free speech right now. We got to fight for our world we're in. We got to fight for, I mean, our values, our morals, all this stuff. Like, I mean, we're in a world where nobody even cares about morals or values, and it just annoys me. Or they don't even know what they are, to be honest.
yeah. It's amazing to me. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are on the, let's say, it's straight and narrow. They really want to make a difference, and then for some reason, somehow, too much money gets in their hands, pockets, whatever, then they've changed. It seems like it, but they start off on the I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to make a change. I'm going to help out. And yeah, and I sorry, that's just not me. I prefer just being me, poor and broke, and be the what I can to help other people than be a fake me out there just so I can have a pocket full.
No, I think that's what makes your podcast good is your authenticity, man. I think that's what I mean. I think that's what's real. That's what people are craving right now. They're tired of like script readers. They're tired of this boring thing where everybody's just out for themselves. I mean, it's just, I mean, look where it got us, man. Look where all the selfishness got us. It's kind of a joke, man. If you told your ancestors like where we're at now, they would be laughing or pissed. I mean,
Oh, you got that right. Yeah.
like if I
They
told my grandpa, I mean, my grandpa died 20 years ago, but if I was able to tell my grandpa that this is what the world's like right now, he's like, why'd I fight the Nazis? If you're just gonna like, you know what I mean? He's like,
yeah, yeah,
why'd I
yeah.
even fight the Nazis if you don't have free speech now? You know what I mean? She's like, what's even going on?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, all right, Anthony. So, what's on the plan? What's on the horizon for you? What the next movie you're trying to work on? Trying to get on what platform? Trying to get on?
Okay, yeah, yeah. No, I have two TV shows coming out on Amazon. I have one called Missouri A Walk Through Hell, Missouri State Penitentiary, where we take a psychic through Missouri State Penitentiary out of Jefferson City, Missouri. It's like a haunted penitentiary where people were in for a long time, like since the 1800s and stuff. And then so we have like kind of history and kind of paranormal thing mixed together. And then I got the Anthony Rogers Show, which is currently a podcast, easy to Google if people want to look it up. But that's going to come to Amazon soon, so that's going to be a TV show soon. And then I'm starting to tour as a comedian again in this fake end of the world.
There
I'm
you go.
I'm starting to tour again and playing bars and stuff rather than comedy venues because I like bars better. They're more fun. And touring around Missouri right now because I mean I think that's one of the most free states right now.
Hmm.
But I mean you're out of Nashville. You're out of Nashville, so I mean I wouldn't rule out Tennessee either, like Florida, some of that. I don't know. We got some good states that still love freedom, so we may tour. We'll tour wherever freedom exists. Still, that's where we're at right
There you
now.
go. Yeah, definitely Tennessee and Nashville area. We've got all our honky tonks and bars and everything. They're all open and going. They're up and live. So
Yeah,
maybe you get down this way. Send me email or something to see if I can try to hit up with you.
yeah, we'll have you hosted.
Hey, there you go.
That'd be kind of
Oh,
cool.
yeah, it would be fun. Being a little host and MC there. So all right. So all right. What the now? You said your mom and dad taught you how to be a comedian. Basically, they roasted you and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so were you one of the kids that got into the little I don't say trouble, but minimum trouble while you're in school, where your comedy routines, the teachers get fed up with it and chewing you out.
Oh, definitely. I made fun of teachers so bad they would just send me to the office. They had no idea what to
Ha
do.
ha ha
Like,
ha.
'cause I would roast them, and then the crowd would laugh. Like the kids would laugh. So I mean, I would get the crowd on my side most of the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I definitely was one of those kids. And like I remember the first joke my parents like made fun of me with that I kind of understood as a joke. I'm sure they roasted me even before I could talk. Like just the kind of parents I had. Just it's a fun atmosphere, not like a
Oh
bad
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
they'd be like, why are you walking like Tito Jackson? I'm like, who's Tito Jackson? They go, Michael Jackson's unsuccessful brother. And I'm just like,
So
I'm like literally like a kid. I'm like, oh man, how am I going to come back from this? But it's I think my mom and dad, when they teamed up, were very brutal and like just in a fun way, not like it didn't ruin my childhood or something. It was like it honestly set me up for my adult life, where I was able just to get out of everything really fast and like develop a quick wit because you had to with my parents being like that.
I feel sorry for this. I used to be a school teacher, is why I was asking like that.
Okay.
And
What'd you
so
teach?
I used to teach seventh grade science, and
Cool. You look like a science.
my first year teaching, had this one student named JJ. JJ, Bell, I hope you're listening now. Let you know that I'm thinking of you. But he was one of them that had to get that attention, that laugh. I don't care what I'm teaching; he's throwing it in real quick. And my first year of teaching, I mean, I was one of them got mad, you know. JJ, sit down, quit doing that. JJ, quit, JJ. And finally, someone said, "Hey, why don't you make an agreement with him? Tell him he can get through your classroom through Thursday, Monday through Thursday. Friday, you would give him 15 minutes to do his comedy routines every week, you know." And I thought, well, okay, I'll offer it to him. And he said, but every time he interrupts you Monday through Thursday, you're taking a minute away from him. And I said, all right, well, I'll offer and see what I get. And he took me up on it and the first time, and I feel so bad for him. The that first time, the 15 minutes, he had to get the 50. He couldn't do it script or whatever. He couldn't do it when he was playing. He was one that had to be off his cuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
In the middle of class and all of a sudden doing something. But when he had that 15 structured time, I felt so bad for him for that. And after
It's
that,
hard.
yes, yeah, I know it.
It's
Yeah, and he realized how hard it was then. When you because I told him I said, hey, if you ever think about getting into comedy later on in life or whatever after school or whatnot, you're going to need to learn to be able to do this. And so that was me to try to talk him into this. And yeah, I felt so bad for him. He couldn't do it. And I bailed him out to help him out. Hey man, let's just I'd prefer you goofing up in the middle of class and really getting laughs than trying to do stuff that's not you. And I backed off from that just to make it easier for him, and it wasn't as frustrating as it could have been for me to allow him to finish up like that. And but oh JJ, buddy, I hope you did well after all that and everything. So I'm telling you, I loved you anyway, boy. So
That's funny. They used to. Jim Carrey had a similar situation where they'd give him like do the same thing. I believe Jim Carrey grew up like that. Like he was given a set after like for or something like that. Something. But I think I don't know. Stand up's hard, man. I mean, you gotta really know what you're doing, man. And like it takes some time to figure out too. I wasn't very good at first, because I skipped, like I said, told you I skipped all the open mic night things and just went straight to a tour. So I mean, I wasn't the best at first. If I look back at some old stuff, I'd cringe probably. I look back at some stuff I did last week and cringe probably. It's just
yeah.
like it's hard, man. I mean, but we got a good thing going up here. We got a lot of good comics. We're kind of just finding. We're scouting right now, so we're finding a bunch of good comics up here. And like, I mean, we're doing these Wednesday nights at Cusimano's out here in St. Louis, and like, I mean, people are killing it there, man. Like, it's a really good network of comedians, and like, I mean, we're taking a lot of people that make it look easier than it is. Like, I feel like because a lot of these guys are just like going up there and they're just funny naturally. Like, it's like we got a couple dudes like this. This dude he was a bartender before, so it kind of naturally just like going from bartender to stand-up comedian was just like a natural move for him, and he's killing it. It's like, but I mean, yeah, no, I had time where I had to figure out what I did is like if you bomb, you have to have outs. You know what I mean? You have to have like
Oh
if you
yes, oh yes.
and that's the easiest way out of it. You tell this, you test this joke out. If it doesn't hit, you're like, oh man, I thought that was gonna go a lot better, guys. And then they're like, and then they laugh at that, like rather than the jokes. I mean, you have to have like all these outs if you fail and stuff. I mean, it's like and then like there's so many different styles of comedy. Like I feel like I'll write jokes all day and then never use any of them. It's just like,
Oh
I'll
yeah. I can believe that too. That yeah, you come up with 1,000 things to try to pull out 10.
Yeah, because you freak out. Because I know I got a show. I got my first actual show out of town since like 2 years. Like in 2 weeks, I'm going to Jefferson City, the state's capital, and like a lot of state reps are going to be there and stuff. That's where they all hang out. All the Missouri state reps hang out at this bar. And like I'm like, man, I better kill. It's like I better be really good. And like so I'm like writing jokes, freaking out a little bit, and then I know like just how I work that I'll write all these jokes and have these worst case scenario in my notes, and I won't even use any of them. I'll freak out, write all these jokes, and not even use any of them. And that's how it works every time. It's just like your brain prepares you for the moment of battle, so you're not like just gonna be like, it's like
I can understand where you would need a script, maybe just in case something bomb, something to back on to real fast.
yeah.
But I would think a lot of it would be you're freestyling it. You're
That's
trying
the
to go.
best.
You're going with the flow of the laughs or not laughs.
And that's the best for me because you never know who's going to be in the crowd. I mean, you could write jokes all day that are funny, like this kind of person, and like jokes that are funny, this kind of person. But when you go there, it's like a conversation because like you see the people and you kind of read them, you kind of see. You know what I mean? It's like
Oh yeah.
before you go up there, you don't know who you're talking to. You can prepare a speech for anything, but I mean, it doesn't matter if like these people it doesn't hit them or isn't relevant to them.
Yeah. I was going to say that you probably have a variety of different types of jokes to try to hit the main 2 or 3 types of people, like you said, groups out there that's seems to be the funniest.
Yeah, and then like there's certain things that are kind of universal in America. I mean, you could easily make fun of the president. I mean, like the president's kind of a moron, so it's very easy. And then like just certain things. I mean, you can make fun of just like any kind of news. I mean, any kind of pop culture things. I mean, the world's in a really weird spot to where I mean the jokes write themselves these days. I mean, you just you just give Joe Biden a microphone and something to try to read. And I mean that's comedy, right? I mean that's just comedy right there, man. Like seeing this guy try to talk. And then it's kind of terrifying that he has nuclear launch codes, and like I don't know, it's just like it's a weird situation we're in, and like the jokes just write themselves these days.
To me, it's just sad. It's sad more than funny with him right now. And
Well, we have to laugh so we don't cry.
Yeah, and just I mean, thinking he's our leader, and man, I feel more sorry for him than I want to make fun of him. And,
Well, you're nice.
I'm
You're a
like
nicer
you
guy.
to be. Well, I'm like you to be beginning. I would going, what the hell is that? He just sitting there for 15 seconds, nothing, and then now I just feel sorry for him. So from there,
No, you're
and
probably a way better person than me. You seem like you seem like a way better person than me. But like legitimately speaking, I mean that. But I'm just saying, like I feel like we have to roast this guy out of office and then roast the people that put him there because like he's just a puppet for like the people that put him there. You know what I mean? So it's like we have to roast these guys so they never try it again. I mean, it's like come on. It's like you guys hated Trump so bad, but your solution was Joe Biden. You're just like come on. Like you mean. And I can see complaints with anybody. Nobody's a perfect human being. Like everyone's got flaws and pros and cons and blah. But I'm just saying, like I'm waiting for Joe Biden's pros to come out. I'm waiting for something. It's just like that couldn't be the answer to Trump that all those whiny Democrats were talking about for like fucking 4 years, man. It's just like oh Trump's bad, blah blah blah. I'm like okay, well then have somebody better. It's like offer a better solution.
Have a better solution, not just be throwing someone out there.
Yeah, I thought George Bush was the dumbest president we're ever going to have. And then it went to Joe Biden. I'm like, oh, my God. It got worse. It's just like it's just crazy,
all right,
man.
This has been fun. I've enjoyed this and everything like that from here. Learned a little bit here. So is there anything else you want to tell us about anything coming up? You talking about the other 2 movies coming up here? Going to be Netflix and Amazon?
Yeah. I got 2 TV shows coming out on Amazon. I'm starting comedy again, touring around Missouri at first. And I'll take offers anywhere that's free. So, I mean, so if they have like any kind of like free open society left in America, I'll do a show there. But right now I'm staying in Missouri because like it's least likely to get nuked by China.
There you go. There you go.
So I've been touring, working on that, and then I don't know, man, just working every day on everything, man, just like trying to get going, you know.
I just have a problem, and again, I try to stay out of politically as best as possible, but I have a problem. I hope our Olympic people do the best showing they can do. I just can't watch it. So
Oh, I can't either, man. I don't.
just don't want to support anything.
Yeah, I don't support any society that has concentration camps. Like, you know,
Yeah,
it's just like I just can't support China, man. Like they have gone overboard and they need to be checked, honestly. And I hope it a more peaceful way than war. Which I mean, if China's looking at Taiwan and Russia's looking at Ukraine. I'm like, they're just trying to start World War III right now, and like it's just getting annoying. It's like I got a lot of things I'd rather do than fight a war, you know.
and well, the sad thing is, people were swearing up and down Trump was going to start World War III.
Oh, they
So
project, man. But that's
yeah,
what there were great Democrats back in the day. Like my grandfather's generation, we had FDR and Truman and all these guys. We had some great Democrats. The Democratic Party was swooped by radicals at this point, and basically they're just idiots. They're emotion based idiots. And like I'm not trying to be mean. It's just true. It's like they're not smart people policy wise, not logical people. They're very emotional people, and they project everything they do. Everything they do, they say Republicans do. They're like Republicans are racist. I'm like, they started the KKK. They fought for slavery. They put more black people in jail to privatize prisons in the 90s. Like they're the racist party, and they're crazy. They're literally crazy, and they whine and manipulate really good people. There's a lot of really good people that believe their rhetoric because they feel like the good guy if you don't do your homework. Like if you don't do any political homework at all, you're like, oh man, the Democrats are the good guys. And then you like look at their policy, you look at all this, you're like, oh man, they're terrifying.
yeah. So, and my mom told me that he's passed away. It's been 40 years, but my mom said he used to be a Democrat. I said, I guarantee he would have traded parties by now.
Definitely agree.
The way it is, I really believe that.
They were the
The
good
way,
guys at one point. They were the good.
exactly. And so he would have traded parties knowing what's going on today. So, all
Definitely.
right,
Yeah,
Anthony. Hey, appreciate everything. And hey, there's people hurting and struggling. If you can give us a positive message that could help someone get through today, so that would be cool, man.
cool. Yeah, no, I think no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're dealing with, I mean, nothing good or bad ever lasts forever. So I hate to break it to you, even if you're happy, that doesn't last forever either. It goes back and forth, and no matter what you're dealing with, there's somebody. I mean, if you have to focus on this, I don't know, but like, a lot of people have it worse. A lot of people have it better. I think it's a day-to-day thing. I mean, this world's madness. I mean, even if you're in good health and good situation, you're wealthy, whatever the goals are. I mean, you still have bad days. Even if you have everything in the world, and if you don't have everything in the world, you have bad. I mean, I don't know. I've had to deal with a lot of stuff this last couple of years. Like my mom got really sick and stuff, and like I had to fight this like negativity thing I had. You know, it's like I had to fight that to stay in a good situation, to stay positive or try to at least. And I slip up. I mean, I slip up still. I still have a negative mindset sometimes, but I try to get out of that. And it's all about your mindset. It's like whatever you do. I mean, whatever you're given, like I think you should run with. Because I mean, I didn't pick this avatar. You know, I would have picked a way better looking avatar. Like, I would have been like a dude with a six pack, owns a Ferrari dealership, and the CEO of like some company. You know, I would have picked like just run with whatever you have, be true to yourself, and like I mean, that's all you can really do. Love the people around you, love your family, keep them united, keep your friends. I mean, follow God, serve your country, provide for your family. You know, just like I think those are the noble things that are left in this world, and I think you need to do those things and focus on those more than anything.
There you go, amen, brother. And I'm all for it. I'll throw some humor into it. Whatever you're going through, good or bad, humor will at least prevent you from crying, as you said earlier. So,
Definitely. God bless you, brother. Thank you for having me on the
hey,
show.
appreciate you coming on and everything, Anthony. Hey, everybody else, share us out with someone you know that could use a good laughter here to help them out through today. So, I'm Dr. James Purdue, the professor of perseverance. Do something today, tomorrow, something next week that's going to help you persevere past your paralysis.